When someone says the word mouse or rat, most people instantly picture the same scene. A small grey blur streaking across a kitchen floor, heart racing, disappearing before you can react. In that moment, it hardly seems to matter which one it was. But here's the twist. These two animals, often lumped together as pests, are actually playing very different games of survival. They may share a family tree, but their minds, behaviors, and strategies couldn't be more different. And once you understand those differences, one uncomfortable truth becomes clear. One of them is not just surviving alongside us. One of them is outthinking us. At first glance, size seems like the obvious dividing line. Mice are delicate and light, with narrow bodies, oversized ears, and sharp, pointed faces that make them look almost cartoonish. Their movements are quick and jittery, driven by constant bursts of energy. Rats are built differently. Their bodies are thicker and heavier, their heads broader, their movements more deliberate. A full-grown rat can outweigh a mouse several times over, and that extra mass changes everything. It affects how they move, how they fight, how they eat, and how they solve problems. Size alone already hints that these animals are optimized for different roles. But physical differences only scratch the surface. Behavior is where the real divide begins. Mice are explorers by nature. Drop something new into their environment, and they'll often investigate almost immediately. That curiosity helps them find food quickly and adapt to new spaces, but it also gets them into trouble. A mouse will sample unfamiliar food without much hesitation, even if it carries risk. Rats are the opposite. They are famously cautious. Introduce a new object, a new smell, or a new food source, and a rat may avoid it entirely for days. This isn't fear. It's calculation. Rats practice a behavior scientists call neophobia, an instinctive distrust of anything unfamiliar. In the wild and in cities, that caution keeps them alive. This is one of the reasons rats are so difficult to trap. A rat doesn't rush in. It watches. It waits. Sometimes it observes another rat interact with the object first. If something goes wrong, the rest of the group learns instantly. This ability to learn indirectly is a hallmark of higher intelligence. Mice, by comparison, learn quickly but individually. Each mouse tends to repeat its own mistakes. Rats share information. That difference becomes even more striking when you look at intelligence. Both animals are smart, but rats operate on another level. Studies have shown that rats can solve complex puzzles, remember routes through mazes for long periods, and adjust strategies when conditions change. They don't just memorize solutions. They understand patterns. Some experiments even suggest rats can demonstrate empathy, freeing trapped companions even when there's no direct reward. That level of social awareness is rare in rodents. Mice, while clever, are more self-focused. Their intelligence is geared toward rapid decision-making and quick escapes rather than long-term planning. They react. Rats anticipate. That single distinction explains much of their reputation. Rats don't just survive danger. They predict it. Social behavior reinforces this gap. Rats live in structured communities with clear hierarchies. They groom each other, share food, and cooperate when facing threats. Their survival depends on teamwork. Information flows through the group, allowing them to adapt quickly to new dangers. Mice are more solitary and territorial. Male mice, especially, can become aggressive toward one another, limiting how large and stable their groups can be. Where rats build societies, mice form loose, temporary networks. These social differences also shape how they eat. Both mice and rats are omnivores, capable of consuming almost anything humans eat. But the way they eat reveals their mindset. Mice nibble. They sample small amounts from many locations, rarely committing to a single food source. This constant grazing helps them avoid poisoning and stay mobile. Rats commit. They take larger portions, often dragging food back to a nest where it can be shared and stored. Their stronger jaws allow them to chew through harder materials, from thick packaging to wood and even soft metals. That's why rat damage is often dramatic and destructive, while mouse damage is subtle and scattered. Where they live tells another story. Mice prefer tight, hidden spaces. Inside walls, ceilings, cabinets, and insulation, anywhere cramped and protected. Their small bodies allow them to squeeze through openings barely larger than a coin. Rats can squeeze too, but they don't rely on stealth in the same way. They thrive in basements, alleys, sewers, and outdoor burrows. Some species are excellent swimmers, capable of navigating plumbing systems and surfacing inside buildings through toilets or drains. That ability alone gives rats access to environments mice could never reach. Urban environments, in particular, favor rats. Cities offer food, shelter, warmth, and endless hiding places. Rats don't just live in cities. They study them. They learn traffic patterns, human routines, and garbage schedules. Over time, they adapt their behavior to avoid us almost entirely, moving when we sleep and retreating when we're active. Mice live alongside humans. Rats live around humans, often without being seen. Reproduction adds another layer to the contrast. Mice reproduce at a staggering pace. They mature quickly and produce many litters in a short lifespan. This strategy overwhelms predators and compensates for high mortality. Lose many, replace them fast. Rats take a slower approach. They have fewer litters, but they live longer and invest more time in raising their young. The result is fewer offspring overall, but a higher survival rate. Mice flood the environment. Rats entrench themselves within it. Human perception of these animals couldn't be more different, and it says more about us than it does about them. Mice are often portrayed as cute, harmless, even lovable. Think of cartoons, storybooks, and animated films. Their small size and quick movements make them seem less threatening. Rats, on the other hand, carry centuries of stigma. They've been blamed for plagues, associated with filth, and used as symbols of decay. But modern science paints a more nuanced picture. Rats are clean animals that groom themselves constantly. They prefer to avoid waste and often establish separate areas for sleeping, eating, and defecating. Much of our fear comes from history and symbolism, not behavior. Still, in a direct encounter, there's no question who holds the advantage. A rat is larger, stronger, and more aggressive when cornered. In the wild, rats will sometimes prey on mice, especially when resources are scarce. Mice survive by staying hidden and fleeing quickly. Rats survive by standing their ground when necessary and relying on numbers. It's not just a size difference. It's a strategic one. All of this leads to the question hinted at from the beginning. Which one is smarter? While intelligence is difficult to measure, the evidence consistently points in one direction. Rats demonstrate planning, social learning, emotional awareness, and adaptability at a level mice simply don't match. Mice are reactive geniuses. Rats are strategic thinkers. One survives through speed and numbers. The other survives through caution and cooperation. So when you see a small shape dart across a room, it's worth asking which one it is. A mouse tells you something slipped through unnoticed. A rat tells you something has been watching, learning, and choosing its moment. Both are remarkable survivors, shaped by millions of years of evolution, each perfectly suited to its niche. They may look similar, but under the surface, they represent two very different kinds of intelligence. And that's what makes the comparison so fascinating. Mice show us how far curiosity and speed can go. Rats show us the power of patience, memory, and social intelligence. Together, they reveal that survival isn't about being the strongest or the fastest. It's about playing the right game. Thank you for watching. If you have ideas for what we should explore next, drop them in the comments and we'll be happy to credit you in a future video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned as we continue uncovering extraordinary stories hidden inside the most ordinary things.